And we're grateful because here in San Antonio, we have had rain. And though I know that that affects a lot of people on the coast, and the hurricane is there and present, but we just want to send our blessings out. And we also want to welcome Rachel Laven all the way from the UK with
Hey
us
guys,
today.
thank you so much for having me. It's good to be back with you all.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
it's been a minute, as they say. Those of you who've been around the circle for a while may remember that Rachel first started singing the Celebration Circle when she was 12, 13
Yeah,
years
I
old.
was hot.
And now she's gone on to become an award-winning singer-songwriter who tours widely and is now in Leeds, England. And we're so excited to have you with us this morning, Rachel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
great to do this virtually.
Yes, amazing that we can do this.
So whoever you are and however you are, I invite you to get where you are, just where you are, and feel our connection as we
yes.
lift up our songs, our prayers, our silences.
And so we're going to begin this morning with our song, Come Celebrate. So we hope you'll join us with that. The lyrics are simple, and we'll be back with Rachel in just a few minutes.
Come celebrate, gather together, come celebrate, one by one, come celebrate, now and forever, let us remember we are one. Come celebrate, join in a circle, come celebrate, side by side, come celebrate, now and forever, let us remember we are one. Celebrate, celebrate, come celebrate, 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 come celebrate, 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 come celebrate, yes, celebrate, celebrate, come celebrate, come celebrate, gather together, come celebrate, heart open wide, come celebrate, now and forever, let us remember we are one. We are one. We are one.
Yes, so remembering our oneness and our connection, I invite you to join us in the honoring the four directions as we honor this sacred space that we call home, as we honor that divine that is within each one of us. So we invite you to join us, and if you're able to turn and face the four directions physically, to turn into each one consciously, as we begin by facing the east, that land of the rising sun, the new beginnings. So at the sound of the bowl, we'll sing together.
Oh, great Spirit, earth, sun, sky, and sea, you are inside and all around me.
Turning to the south, to the land of rich, warm summers.
Oh, great Spirit, earth, sun, sky, and sea, you are inside and all around me.
And turning into the west, the land of the setting sun.
Oh, great Spirit, earth, sun, sky, and sea, you are inside and all around.
And facing into the north, the cold, dark night.
Oh, great Spirit, earth, sun, sky, and sea, You are inside and all around.
And turning within to that divine place of manifestation.
Oh, great Spirit, earth, sun, sky, and sea, you are inside and all around.
Oh, Holy One, Holy Wonder, we join our hearts, our minds, our spirits together with all of creation, with the two-leggeds, the four-leggeds, the winged ones, the ones that swim and crawl with rocks, trees, grasses, with the seas, the skies, the stars, the oceans, the comets, with all of life, we affirm our oneness. We affirm we are one. Together, we are one. And once again, we are one. For this opportunity to honor and nurture the sacred in ourselves, in each other, in all of creation. For this we say thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is. And now we welcome back Rachel to do one of her original songs, Do Your Dare. Thank you.
We dare to think, dare to dream, dare to second guess how reality seems. Do you dare to change your stubborn point of view? And do you dare to be alone, dare to be yourself, and dare to put your parents' book on the shelf? Do you dare to find your own place there? Because I like a festival, we only get a little time. And the secret to a good life is to dare. Making money in a crime, we get space to make time. And in the end, you can't take it with you. The secret to a good life is to dare. Dare to turn off, dare to escape that 2x4 screen to your face. Do you dare to be off that grid for a day? And do you dare to believe that there's more up your sleeve, that your destiny is something you can achieve? And you can start your journey when you please. Because I like a festival, we only get a little time. And the secret to a good life is to dare. Making money ain't a crime, there's space to make time. And in the end, you can't take it with you. The secret to a good life is to dare. Dare to trust, dare to feel, dare to let a person in who's real. Do you dare to make a friend, a total stranger? And do you dare to love, dare to share a glance, but dare to keep yourself from a bad romance? Do you dare to put your heart in mortal danger? Because I like a festival, we only get a little time. And the secret to a good life is to dare. Making money Thanks, y'all. It's so good to see everybody.
Oh, it's great to be with you. Thank you for that sharing that one.
Absolutely.
See you in a minute.
Okay.
And now a poem from the great Hafiz, as translated by Daniel Ladinsky. Manic screaming. We should make all spiritual talk simple today. God is trying to sell you something, but you don't want to buy. That is what all your suffering is. Your fantastic haggling, your manic screaming over the price. We should make all spiritual talk simple today. God is trying to sell you something, but you don't want to buy. That is what all your suffering is. Your fantastic haggling, your manic screaming over the price.
I think a lot of us have been manic screaming. Maybe
haggling over
the price. Or maybe not the price, but the situation that we're all living in. So I just invite you now to, as we come to this time of communion, where we had passed baskets of bread and representations of communal sharing, I invite you now to think into this, feel into this time of communion as our time of metaphysical oneness, of sharing at the spiritual level without the haggling, without the screaming. I invite you to join me in breathing together and remembering that we are literally breathing in the same air. And so as we take 4 deep, long communal breaths together, as we inhale, I invite you to not just ingest the air, but to fully digest it, take it in mindfully, purposefully. And then as we exhale together, to release anything that no longer serves you, release any past that you are ready to let go of, so that we can all be here more fully present in this precious moment. So we'll inhale at the sound of the bowl together 4 times. Remembering and breathing together, remembering we are one. And so it is. Now we welcome back Rachel with another song. Keep shining, and she always is.
So I wrote this tune when I first moved to England and was getting used to the rainy weather. I don't know if anybody told you that England is rainy, but I was not prepared. I was ill prepared for the rain and the seasonal affective disorder that comes along with it. And so I wrote this song to kind of remind myself to keep shining through all the depression. Caffeine like cocaine, sad songs like gin, eating it up like vitamins. I'm writing my morning pages, trying to rein my thoughts in with a pen. Sometimes I think it's working. Keep shining, sun. Even when the clouds have stolen your crown, you keep shining, sun. Even when the rain is raining now. I'm scared to take the bridge now. Scared of what I might do. Who the heck am I talking to? I'm working it all out, letting the pain surface like it wants to. I play to see it through. You keep shining, sun. Even when the clouds have stolen your crown, you keep shining, sun. Even when the rain is raining and I carry his words with me, a poor man's therapy. There ain't no dark till something shines. I'm bound to leave this dark behind. You keep shining, sun. Even when the clouds have stolen your crown, you keep shining, sun. Even when the rain is raining now, you keep shining, sun. Even when the clouds have stolen your crown, you keep shining, sun. Even when the rain is raining now. Keep shining, y'all. Through all this heartache.
Oops. What a shiny song. Thanks for radiating that all the way across the Atlantic Ocean into our hearts here.
Beautiful. So keep shining, keep it simple. It's just sort of the theme I thought of for today: simplicity, simplify, keep it simple. And in terms of keeping it simple, I found this quote from Henry David Thoreau. I went to the woods because I wished to live deliberately, to front only the essential facts of life and see if I could not learn what it had to teach, and not, when I came to die discover that I had not lived. I wanted to live deep and suck all the marrow of life. So, I don't think that this means that we all have to go to the woods to simplify our lives, though that would be nice to spend some time out in the woods. But what is the important part of this living deliberately that Thoreau talks about? What does that mean to me? What does it mean to you? If we talk about simplicity or living simply, does it mean we have to go live on the mountaintop meditating all day or retreat to the woods alone? I don't think so. I also don't think that it means giving up the lives that we live, but rather living our lives more consciously, more deliberately. It's about making choices, conscious, deliberate choices. And it's definitely something that in my life I'm working toward, is being more aware each time I make a choice. And it is challenging to be awake when you're making choices, because we are so trained in our uh, Western culture to want certain things like the car, the job, the degree, the whatever it is, to look or act in a certain way. And it's that part of us that gets us into an overcommitment of time, into uh, a place of being in debt. And so knowing that that's not really who we truly are, that's not our essence. So simplicity is just stopping and looking at our lives, even if just for a moment. It's asking, what am I doing with my life? And in that moment, asking, is this the right choice for me, for my family? To be present and conscious when making those choices. So, one of my favorite experiences that I've had in my life is whitewater river rafting. And it's extremely thrilling. And um, when we lived in California, I had the opportunity to raft a few good sized rivers that I'll never forget. But the Guadalupe works too when it's flowing in its right way. So maybe you've had the experience of whitewater river rafting. But what I love most about it is the opportunity to look at how I see the world. Because, we're gently floating down the river and everything's kind of mellow. And then you hear this roar and you know that it's the rapids. And there's this anticipation of what lies ahead, and this a little bit of fear. Will I fall out of the boat? Which I often do. And will anyone get hurt? There's very much this projection into the future. And then it comes. And when you are in the rapids, you are in the middle of that white water, nothing else exists. It's the ultimate experience of being present right in the moment. And before you know it, you're on the other side, just like that. And you're looking back, living in the past, wondering what you could have done differently. And so, right there in that one experience is the complete past, present, and future. So, Thoreau, again, just to read something from him, says, we must learn to reawaken, to keep ourselves awake, not by mechanical aids, but by an infinite expectation of the dawn. The millions are awake enough for physical labor, but only 1 in a million is awake enough for effective intellectual exertion. Only 1 in 100 million to a poetic or divine life. To be awake is to be alive. And there's not just one path or one way to simplify our lives. It is up to each of us. It is the choices we consciously make in our lives. And you may think, oh, I'm awake. I drive my car, I talk on the phone, I cook meals. But the real question is, am I awake enough to look into your eyes, to feel your sadness, to see your pain, to reach out to my friend who's in need, to feel all these feelings? And living deliberately means participating in life, in all of life, in the joys and the sorrows, the good and the dark parts. It's all of life, sucking the marrow out of it, as Thoreau said. And we don't have to go shopping for all those things in our culture that tell us we want in order to experience a deliberate life, in order to have happiness. It's right here. It's sitting right inside each one of us. We just have to notice. We just have to be awake so that we can truly be alive. Let's just take a few moments to look at all the ways we can be alive in our lives through our time, our money, our physical bodies, our homes and workplaces, our own inner peace. So with time, multitasking is so prevalent in our lives, and we all get caught up in this busyness, this doingness. Talking while we're on the phone is a great example. I hope you're not doing that unless it's hands-free, but there is a proven fact that people who talk and drive are just as likely to have accidents as drunk drivers. And so slow down, take time, put the devices down. And taking time, the Sabbath is a religious, ancient religious custom that the seventh day of the week, Saturday for Jews and some Christians, but to many Sunday, this first day of the week. And it's closely related to the biblical creation. In Genesis, it says, on the seventh day, God had finished his work of creation, so he rested from all his work. So religious or not, take the opportunity to rest one day a week, to use this day for spiritual matters, to have fun, to goof off, to sleep all day, to read, to hike, and write. Spend a day close to nature. And I think that, touching into nature gets us in touch with simplicity in a way that nothing else can. So I invite you to take a day, put on your calendar a big X if you still use a paper calendar, or mark it off in your cyber calendar. No work allowed. You can't do 24/7 and stay sane and healthy. You have heard the phrase that if we don't take care of ourselves, we can't really take care of others. So take care of yourself. This is just another chance for making our conscious choices. And then in terms of money and our financial stability, many say that in financial terms, voluntary simplicity is about getting in control of your money and about letting it work for you. So having money in the bank, having a zero credit card balance, And must confess that there have been times in my life when I have not made conscious choices about my desire, using my desire to live more simply. But I feel that I'm constantly in this process of re-educating, of reawakening my consciousness around money. And when Thoreau said, "Live deliberately," uh, it's using that as a focus, that deliberate, conscious focus, because those greenbacks and our attitudes about money can either bury us or they can free us. So again and again, we come back to this place of making conscious choices, and then we turn to our bodies, our food, our exercise. Um, Simple living is about slowing down and living sensually, like smelling and touching and tasting and seeing our way through life, using our senses. And cooking is a good opportunity to experience this. It doesn't mean that it has to take a lot of time, but it means being fully present and mindful as we chop, as we stir and mix. And rather than running through the to-do list and the recipe as we cook, it's taking time to actually feel with your fingers the fuzz on the peach, to notice the bright, beautiful red color of the watermelon and how the juices flow out as you cut into it. What senses do we really need when we're driving through fast food or pickup? So use this time. And I think that during this time of quarantine, that's one of the reasons why cooking and baking has become so prevalent in our culture. Is this has given us the opportunity to focus on making these slow, conscious choices using our senses. And maybe you've seen the movie Like Water for Chocolate. It's a story about a Mexican woman who cooks for a large family, and she shows uh, the movie shows how she puts her love and her entire soul into the food in a way that most of us don't do because we're too busy. So in the movie, just cooking is an entire whole body experience for her. It's a true act of love. And cooking simply is also and allowing yourself to serve others with simple, beautiful food is a gift. Just a beautiful pot of cooked beans and brown rice is such a simple, basic treat. Um, Sometimes you just can't beat the simplicity of something like that. There's a couple, Helen and Scott Nearing, who lived well into their 90s and authored several books. And they tell a story in a book about a woman who spent all of her days cooking for the farmhands. And one afternoon, she kind of just went quietly crazy. And Helen says in the book that as she was led to the wagon taking her to the loony house, she kept repeating as over and over again, and they ate it all in 20 minutes. They ate it all in 20 minutes. So I think many of us have had that experience where, like with a big meal, a Thanksgiving feast, and we spend hours preparing and then it's gone and over in a short few minutes. So a simple living plan for staying healthy is to use nature by eating natural foods and using the outdoors for exercise, for allowing your body to really experience the sun on your skin. using these natural remedies of pure, beautiful air, of sunlight, of rest, exercise, water, and nutrition, and temperance, and allowing yourself to sink into those. And then, there's this word that we have in our culture, the clutter word, in our homes, in our workspaces. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about that because I think there are a lot of feng shui experts that know more than I do. And certainly you've probably seen Marie Kondo doing her, if it brings joy. But there's, just that one thing, little tip, if you haven't used it in a year, let it go. It's time. So just to focus on that in terms of simply living. How much do we really need? And then we move into kind of our own inner peace, our own focus on the divine. And the number one reason why most people think about simplifying their lives is to attain some level of inner peace and calm and contentment. Yet looking outside of ourselves for happiness it can really be exhausting. So being quiet is the key here, especially in this overstimulated world that we live in. And it can be difficult because of all the stimulation, especially now as we're kind of bombarded by information from everywhere. So I'm going to invite you just for a moment to close your eyes. We're not going to meditate, but just to close your eyes and just think of all the noises that surround you each and every day. And start at the beginning in the morning. If there's an alarm clock or a TV or radio, a stereo, a phone, a computer, Siri, Alexa, other people, animals barking, meowing. How many of us are addicted in some way to those noises? So think about ways that you can reduce the noise in your life. Noise has been linked to high blood pressure and heart disease and learning disorders and stress. And, our heads are filled with noises, voices all the time. And yet it is in the silence that we have the best chance of listening to our own voice, to that still, small, quiet voice inside. And then that allows us to make choices based on what we really, truly want and not what others are expecting of us. Simple silence is a wonderful thing, so try it. The next time you have a choice to make, turn off the radio, the cell phone, the whatever's distracting you, and sit in the silence. Or maybe try it the next time you're driving your car and feel your hands on the wheel and feel the muscles that are engaging as you push on the pedal, moving yourself and your car forward. And really look and feel what it is that you're doing as you're driving 70 miles an hour down a highway in a 2,000-pound hunk of steel and metal. And focus on the feeling and the silence and the experience. And in closing, I just want to share a story about a Zen student who was making a long distance pilgrimage to visit his teacher. And he's looking for wisdom and he's full of questions and wants answers, and he becomes very frustrated as his teacher refuses to answer his questions. And eventually the wise monk says, "Pour me a cup of tea, and I will tell you when to stop." So the student begins pouring, and he pours and pours, and the cup fills, and the tea spills out onto everything. And he finally has the courage to speak, and he says, "Can't you see the cup is full? It can hold no more." And the monk says, "And so it is with you. Your mind is too full of too many things. Only when you are truly, truly empty will there be room for more knowledge to come in." So, my invitation to you is to spend more time emptying, to allow simplicity to fill your life, to become empty. Blessings. Take some time now to sit in meditation together as Rudy guides us into simplicity.
Tis a gift to be simple, tis a gift to be free, tis a gift to come down where you want to be. When we find ourselves in the place just right, we'll be in the valley of love and light. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend, we will not be ashamed. To turn, turn will be our delight. Turning, turning, we come round right. Tis a gift to be simple, tis a gift to be free, tis a gift to come down where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, 'twill be in the valley of love and light. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend, we will not be ashamed. To turn, turn, be our delight, till by turning, turning, we come round right. 'Tis a gift to be simple, 'tis a gift to be free. As eyes open or eyes closed, I invite you to simply feel the gift of being free in this moment. Free of having to do, make happen anything. To simply sit in the magnificence of who you are and always have been. Free, unlimited beingness. Taking this moment to breathe, even as you do so, realizing that you are not breathing as much as you are being breathed by life, moving to you, through you, as you. All of creation resonating in every cell and fiber of your being. Now. At any point your mind drifts off to thoughts of past, future. If you find yourself coughing in the middle of a meditation, simply be present with what is, knowing all is well and all shall be well. Now. And now. And now. Each moment a brand new opportunity to rest in the fullness of who you are, which is so much more than what you do, what you've earned, where you've gone. For who you are is truly unlimited and simply is now. And from this place of beingness, won't you open your consciousness to embrace all that is, all beings everywhere, to send forth your blessing, knowing there is nothing you need to simply be an instrument of love and healing, blessing on the planet. Tis a gift to be simple, simply who you are. Won't you share that gift with your loved ones and strangers alike, with heart wide open? May you, may we, may all beings be blessed by your willingness to do this. And so it is. Amen.
So as we prepare for our time of offering, we're going to sing together. In all things give thanks, holding our love offerings in our hands and our hearts.
In all things give thanks. In all things give thanks. Thanks, thanks. In all things give thanks. Won't you sing that with me? In all things give thanks. In all things give thanks. 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 In all things give thanks. Give thanks for the gift of life. The one light shines through all of creation with hands and hearts open wide. We lift our voices in celebration. In all things give thanks. In all things give thanks. 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 In all things give thanks. One more time with hearts wide open. Sing. In all things give thanks. In all things give thanks. 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 In all things give thanks. In all things give thanks. In all things give thanks.
So, holding our love offerings in our hands and our hearts, we symbolize with this basket the gifts given to support the work of the Celebration Circle. Heaped up and overflowing they are. We speak the words, I give to you, O Spirit, as you have given to me, with heart wide open. Together, I give to you, O Spirit, as you have given to me, with heart wide open. So we have opportunities for you to give on our website, on Venmo, PayPal. Take your choice, but we hope you'll support us in keeping us continuing this process of sharing spirit on Wednesday night meditations and on Sunday mornings, and with workshops and concerts, we hope, coming up soon, and retreats. We're going to do an online retreat in October. And for those of you who missed the mandala workshop on Monday night, Natalie has offered to do it again. So August 17th, Monday, from 6 to 8 p.m. Central Time, we'll be doing another mandala intention workshop.
Multiple opportunities to remember to connect with ourselves, each other, and all creation. And remember, we are one.
And this would be a time too, if you have any names or situations for the prayer circle, to send those in either in the comment section, or you can email us circle@celebrationcircle.org. And we'll continue to lift up those names and situations. So we're going to have another song from Rachel.
Speaking of lifting up.
Lifting Up, and she'll tell you about this one.
Hey y'all, I'm gonna do a John Fulbright tune. The song has brought me a lot of peace through all this heartache, and it's been a joy to sing it, so I'll do it for you guys. Cherish these times, they're already leaving. They're already bound for a brighter unknown. Love with your mind, love all that you're seeing. Love all that is real. that you know. And I wandered alone in darkness for ages, regarding a moon to be as bright as the sun, until at last, well, I cried in amazement, just as night will rejoice in the coming of dawn. Two trees will grow together so close that they become one, and together they'll stay. Rain it will fall, and the world will keep turning, but the trees will remain forever that way. Dear shouldered girl invited me down to an old waking dream that I could not recall, until she reached out and held me so closely. It was then that I knew nothing at all. To cherish these times, they're already leaving. They're already bound for a brighter unknown. Love with your mind, love all that you're seeing, love all that is in me, love all that you know. John Fulbright tune. He's such a brilliant writer. So good to be here.
Beautifully sung song, beautifully written song. Thank you, Rachel, for bringing yourself to this morning service with us. It's good to connect with you once again.
Very good.
We wish you well during the rest of your stay in England, and hope that it brings you what your heart desires, and that you come back and see us again safely soon here in South Texas, where your family awaits.
So we lift up the gifts in the offering basket. We lift up the names in the prayer circle. We know that all is well and all shall be well in all manner of things. We hold this up into the light, into the shining bright light, as we say thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is. So let's join together in singing Love is the Only Power. We'll bring Rachel back.
Love is the only power. Love is the only way. Love, 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 love. Watch our circle grow. Love is the only power. Love is the only way. Love, 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 love. Watch our circle grow.
So have a beautiful week. Remember that we love you We bless you. We see the light in you. Go in peace. Thank you so much, Rachel. Oh, it's so wonderful to have you with us. And
Definitely. I miss you guys.
yeah, well, when you let us know when you're back, and well, you can come back anytime because no matter where you are, we can until we start meeting physically again. Yeah, virtual will always have virtual. So thank you.
Should be heading back to Texas in October, so hopefully see you around there.
Good. Well, safe travels.
Thank you.
So to all of you out there, stay tuned. We'll be back on next Sunday. And then also keep in mind that Wednesday night meditation is here online with Angel and Graham leading those alternating Sundays. So blessings, and thank you for joining us today.